What's up, guys? How we doing? Good morning. All right, it is Pharaoh Friday, and it is time to get to work because we have, I don't want to say a monster intraday bear trend, but let's call it that. This is a monster intraday bear trend. It is what it is. So while this is still a thing, I am looking to do honestly nothing but get short. Volatility is high. ATR is 35 on the 2-minute, which means my size is going to have to come down a tad to account for that, which is fine. So I believe I'm already all set. So let's get to work, man. How we doing? Derek, Squad, John, what's up, guys? Gaines, good to see you, big dog. Javaz, Kevin, how we doing? How we doing? Good morning. All right, let's get to work. We are 12 seconds out from the close here. Giovanni Joe, how we doing? Brandon, good to see all the regulars here. Sedonia, how we doing? Chris Cass, what's up, guys? Good to see you guys. All right, now, yeah, this is a 2-minute chart. Messed that drawing up. If we draw it like this, oh, beautiful, right? So I'm not interested, honestly, in I'm looking for any reason to get short. I'd prefer not to do so down here. So this here, I was watching that while I was setting up the stream, and I was like, yeah, fuck. If I was live right now, I'd take that. Hindsight's 20/20. Missed the opportunity, that's fine. So we're a minute 15 out here. Let's see if we get something else. I'm interested in shorting, taking stabs on little bull. Any sign of bull confidence, I'd like to take a stab. We had 4 consecutive bull bodies on that previous little bounce, so we got to consider that. I mean, that's 8 minutes worth of bull confidence, at least somewhat. At least on those last 2 bars, it got a little bit better. So let's take a peek here and see what we can get out of the 2-minute chart. We'll switch to the 5-minute if necessary. Maybe I'll even trade the 1-minute, though the 1-minute is looking a bit more mixed. I mean, you swap over to a 1-minute, and the more recent data starts to look a little bit less like an intraday bear trend, a little bit more like a soft bear channel, which is natural on a lower time frame. Let's go back to a 2. Jacob, yes, sir. We got some ATR going today. We're at 34. So we will account for that and see what we can do. Kevin, do you take into account any key levels from previous days, etc.? Yeah, so I look at the daily with just the New York session data. I don't really. I'll look at the overnight session on like the 5-minute, the 2-minute chart. I will sometimes trade, maybe once or twice a week. I'll do some trading in the overnight, so I get the experience there. But on the daily chart, I've always thought looking at the overnight session just confuses me. And I don't like being confused because trading is already hard enough to make decisions. So if I can take any confusion out of it at all, I will. So I only look at the New York session on the daily because if we get, 200 points of movement overnight, it's not the same. It's different kind of price action. It's not the same. So I look at that and I look at, are we in a trend market overall, more, or are we more in a range market? Right now, we're in a range market with intraday trends, is how I would describe the current market environment. Which is important to understand because, you got to think, these intraday trends, like yesterday afternoon, did you guys trade yesterday afternoon? That was crazy. That little trend we got from like the last 2 hours of the session, that was just a grindy little trend. It was great. It was tremendous. It was kind of funny. It seemed to clean up shortly after we got off stream here. But I feel like that's kind of been the story lately. The afternoons, I don't know about you guys, the afternoons have been like cleaner than the mornings almost. Except for this move today. Did some of you guys catch this bear trend? I know some of you guys probably got blown out trying to buy the dip that keeps dipping. That's okay. There's a lesson there. And some of you guys probably got short about 8:30. and you're sitting 350 points in the money. ABB, first Apex account this morning. Very good work. All right, plan right now. We're a minute 25 out here on the 2 minute. It will be a dual rollover between the 2 and the 5. Plan right now for me is any excuse at all to get short. Though we got to keep an eye on if it starts flattening out. If it starts flattening out, then I don't want to be getting short near the low. And I'm also thinking about that. Because if we're getting short near the low in a overarching range market, then we're treating the intraday trend like we're in an overarching trend market. In which case, when that is the case, trend, intraday, trend, overarching, they align. Whichever way the trend's in, man, I'm looking for any excuse ever to get long or short, whether it's the high a day, low a day. But in an overarching range market, we got to be careful. But I still want to get short, and really nothing else here, at least for the until this move changes. All right, there we go. Stream running okay on your guys' end? Just making sure here. Let me know. All right, good. Thanks, guys. All right, 60 seconds out here on this 2-minute bar. Really what I'd like to see is a couple of consecutive bull bodies. That's really what I want. A couple of consecutive bull bodies, and I would short those. I'd try to fade it. Okay. Inside close on that last bar. We did get a couple of consecutive bear bodies. If the bulls can put in a single another bull body. Now, honestly, I would love to see it close above here. But this starts, again, for those of you guys just joining in, I am looking for any reason at all, any excuse at all. It has to be a good excuse. But any excuse at all to get short. Market hasn't given me one, but we've been live for about 10 minutes, so let's see what we get. All right, let's do this, huh? What do you guys think? 27 seconds out. Copy trader engaged. If the bulls can give us a nice close near the high of this bar, I'm going to punch it short. Give it a little bit of room. It's a volatile market here today. We are in an intraday bear trend. And see if we can get a pushback downside and a rejection here from the bulls. Basically a bet against the fact that it would be the breakout. And we are sitting short. Obviously, I'm going to have to widen that out a little bit. And that's okay, because we sized ourselves accordingly. And we will suck that down and see what we can get. Just risking this this bar here. Now, if I wanted to take this as more of a swing, I certainly could. And I could go ahead and risk that big curl. I'm going to scalp today. Okay, so I'm going to take smaller little swings, even if it means the win rate ends up being a little bit lower. That's okay with me. For the sake of taking, you know, it's just, I think it's a personality trait kind of thing. If you're somebody who likes to take less trades, 1 or 2 trades a day, you can give it a lot of risk. Size down, give it a lot more room, and the average trade duration is going to go way up. Totally fine if that's what you want to do. For me, I'm gonna take some more swings here. Let them play out a little bit quicker. Let's see if the bulls put in another bull body here. If they do that, we'll see if we get stopped here. Okay, we will. Let's see if we can take another swing. Okay. All right, 8 seconds out here. Looking to take another swing here to the short side. If we can, let's see if the bulls can close this up. And this way we have another easy way to manage risk. Punch that a second time. Let's see. And this time I will give it that full curl. Volatile today, man. There you go. All right, sitting to the short side now. Now, you know, by the way, another reason to take multiple swings, I don't think I explained this, is the drawdown, the 30% issue with particularly Apex, right? If you're trading some Apex accounts, you can't really afford with that, especially if they're, you know, the 50Ks or anything less than, I mean, even the 300Ks if you're trading some size. You can't really afford to take big, massive swings. So I think it makes a lot more sense take more, even if it means getting stopped out and then trying again if that ends up being the case. Because then your losers end up a little bit smaller. You don't really run into that issue. Something to think about. ATR 34. And by the way, I will manage this bar by bar if necessary. Those orders out there right now are protective. Doesn't necessarily have to go that far for either way, but you gotta put the protective order where it makes sense to do it. So yeah, I mean, you know, this is pretty representative of a little intraday bear trend. See these? I mean, we've already seen this pattern. Doji, fade. 4 consecutive growing bull bodies, little doji. Now let's see if we can get that fade. And I am looking for more than half an ATR here on this trade. There you go, Bears. $50 seconds left here on this 2-minute. Bull's able to wake that bear body up a little bit. All right. Let's see if those bulls are able to put something together here. We got 60 seconds left, by the way, on this 2-minute bar. That 1-minute bar just rolled over and immediately brought that wick back down. All right, now, Bears. Fade that baby down. See a repeat of that last little pattern. Ten seconds left here. Big wick back on that body. No decision to make there. Uh, 90 seconds left here. Again, I will manage bar by bar if needed. So far at best we have been 29, close to 30 points in the money, 29 points in the money. Looking for a little more than that on this trade. .38 seconds left. Okay, 12 seconds. A clean close out of the bulls. And we'll pull it and look to try again. Pull it. And we'll look to try again here. Let's see if these bulls can actually put something together. Okay, 35 seconds. We got the 20 EMA on the 5 that has not been tested since, looks like just before 9 o'clock. That's at 6:53. But with ATR at 30, we still got some room here. Ninja, good morning. How we doing? What ATR do you usually size down? Like maybe like 25, 30. It depends on the day. If it's a range market, I'll size down a little higher. SK, if you hit the 30% threshold, they'll deny your payout. And then you have to keep trading, and then you can get a payout on the same account. Mark, I don't know what you're talking about, big dog. I was short. What the fuck are you talking about? Niles, good morning. How we doing? Hey, Biblical, good to see you, big dog. All right, so we got to keep an eye out on this. And see if that becomes a thing, by the way. Because it is an overarching range market. Just happened to be a big old intraday bear trend. So let's see if that becomes a thing. Okay, so a couple things here. I would be looking, I'll just move this up for the sake of explanation. I'm looking at that wick high with the 20 EMA on the 5. Right here at 53. Oh, 53. Like there. That 20 EMA on the 5-minute chart has not been tested since about 9 o'clock Central. So, I mean, we gotta watch it, right? Keep an eye on it. I'll leave my cursor where it sits. I'm looking at a 5-minute. Hang on here. Okay, this is what a 5 minute's looking like. ATR on the 5-minute is 46. All right, so let's sit on a 2-minute here. We're a minute 18 out. Let's see how this bar closes. With this volatility's picking up. It's kind of reminding me of a few months back. Maybe 2 quarters ago. Makes you start to think about that 5-minute a little bit more. We got 30 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. So this is the 5 minute right now. We've got a single wiki bare body. Yeah, I mean, it really tells a story looking around. This is the 1 minute. I mean, need a little bit, something a little more definitive than that. Back to a 2 minute here for now. We are coming in for a test, by the way. That 20 EMA on the 5. That's at 648 now. It's moving down. It's at 648.50 essentially. It's pretty much right there where my cursor's at. So we have a triple top and the 20 EMA on the 5 to deal with here. All right, let's see how the bulls close this up here. Yeah, kind of a shrinking bull body. All right, we'll watch the next bar. By the way, we have the 5 minute, which actually, let's switch to the 5 minute here because it's going to be a dual rollover between the 5 and the 2, and the 5 is starting to intrigue me a little bit more than the 2 is. All right, 35 seconds out. We're looking at the 5-minute chart here. The 20 EMA, it's not pulled up on this exact chart, but it is sitting right about there. So if we can see a bull close back up in the 50s, up towards 60, I suppose, then I'll have to get this ready just in case. Move that away. Let's see how the bulls close this up. I can't place it if they suck back down and close like that. Alright, that will not be a trade. We'll cancel that order and we'll go next bar here. Alright, yeah, I mean, that's what the 2 minutes looking like. Honestly, I might stick with the 5 here today. It's just a little bit cleaner. And when volatility starts to ramp up, I've always been a little bit more intrigued by the 5. Which I would still, you know, I don't know. For you guys, I'm actually curious to hear your thoughts. I have always, for years, I've classified a scalp as a trade that takes less than 30 minutes. Usually it takes a few minutes. But, you know, if a trade takes 22 minutes, is it no longer a scalp? I don't know. I think that's kind of a brutal definition of a scalp. I'd say a scalp is anything that is intended to be quick and doesn't take over 30 minutes. If you've been in the trade longer than 30 minutes, it's kind of morphed, I would think. What do you guys think? Do you have a time cutoff? All right. Couple minutes out here. Let's see what we get out of this 5 minute. Javasi, less than a minute for me is, yeah, I mean, hey. Hey. You guys have seen some of my trades take 30 seconds. Most of the scalps that I take like 5 minutes, about, on average, maybe a little less. "48 seconds out, you're looking at a 5 minute chart. If we see these bulls close this bull body above that wick, I'm going to have to use a stop limit buy to try to get long. That's the plan here. 30 seconds. Let's see if we get an entry. And I'll risk the signal bar in that case. Copy trader engaged. Stop limit buy out. Get that up out of the way so we don't get a fill that we're not after. And come on, bulls. Hold that up. Gotta place it. Gotta place it. We'll give that 30 seconds. See if we can get a fill. If we do not get a fill within the first 30 seconds, we'll pull it and move on. I do not want to participate in that case anyways. 15 seconds. You know, honestly, on the 5-minute chart, if I'm giving something 30 seconds on a 2-minute chart, you could argue I could give something maybe a minute 15 or so on a 5-minute, but we'll pull that. I'll stay true to what I said there. All right, no trade, next bar. All right, guys, hey, quick break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're going to catch some 5-minute trades here today. Volatility is back, baby, and I'm loving it. I'm excited. Welcome back. We are back. And I didn't really miss much, did I? We got a whole bunch of inside closes. Let's switch over to the 2 and see what's up. Let's see what's up. This is actually interesting. If we had a bull close like up here above this previous bar's wick high, I'd short it and just risk that curl. It's a very easy structure. You guys know those trades that you have? Everyone has a few of these. You have the trades that just, you look at it, it's like, I know what to do here. You put it on, you accept the outcome, you move on, and you feel fine about it because you have a whole lot of data on it. Even if it's just mental data, it doesn't... Obviously, we like real data, but it doesn't, you know, whatever. If you've taken the trade 1,000 times and you just know that it works for you well, just hit it, man. We all have those trades. Yeah, I mean, you guys are right. I should probably throw up the, let me put it on there for you. Oh, man. Hold up. There we go. There you go. There's the 20 on the 5. Now, my question is it going to stay when I put it? It's going to stay. It's all right. We'll leave it on for now. All right, so we are on a 5-minute chart. We are 40 seconds out. And if we get a nice bear close beneath, within reason, beneath the wick low of the previous bar here, I'll look to get short. Now, assuming, depending, I should say, how big the wick is, if we do close beneath there, but there's still this big wick, not big, it's like 5 points, I'd get short using a limit order. But if we close near the low, I would put out a stop limit sell and look to get short with a stop limit sell. So, I mean, let's see here. The bulls are wicking this back up. Probably nothing here. Yeah, nothing there. All right, we'll go next bar. Check in on the 2. All right, we've got 10 seconds out here. Copy trader is engaged. We're on a 2-minute chart. A nice strong bull body, and I'll look to try to fade that. Just quick little scalp mentality here. Bunch that short. And we will be short. There we are. And suck that down. ATR 23.5. So let's see if the Bears can fade this baby back into this little soft bull channel that we're seeing. There you go, Bears. ATR is still about 24.5 here. Come on, Bears, do it to him. There you go. We'll take better than half an ATR as we come into that little low. All right, quick little scalp. Let's move on. Well, let's check it on the 5-minute chart here, huh? How we doing over here? All right, we'll stay here on the 5. I like the freedom here, man. Oh, God, when market volatility starts tanking, it's like you're kind of stuck on whatever chart looks cleanest. But when volatility's a bit back, I mean, HR was what, 20, what was it on the 2-minute? 24? Yeah, 24.5. When ATR starts creeping back up, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. If you need to, you can size down a little bit. It's no big deal. There's no ego involved, right? Just size down so that you're, able to put on the risk that you need to. And we can flip back and forth. There's a beauty of a setup on the 5. We can put on some risk. And if there's nothing on the 5, we can head over to the 2 and do some scalping. Gotta love it, man. All right, rollover of the 5-minute here. Inside close, nothing I can do there. If I had to do anything, I'd probably have to get short, but I gotta be honest with you, I'm not gonna do that because let me show you why I can't do that. This is a big concern right now. So we do nothing and we wait. And in the meantime, because we are now trading the best market on Earth, in the best country on Earth, in the best volatility environment on Earth, we can switch back to the 2-minute and do whatever the hell we want. Because it's futures and there's no PDT rule. Damn it. I think they're gonna lower it, man. Has anyone seen an update, by the way? I have not looked up an update in the last, week. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? They're seriously considering lowering the $25,000 minimum in PDT down to about $2,000. which is tremendous. I mean, that opens up a whole new world for a whole bunch of new people to come in and give trading an honest-to-God shot, which is a wonderful thing. That's right, Joe. The futures market is already free. As far as free of the chains. As long as you can cover the margin plus, whatever risk you need to be able to put on. You can trade 1,000,000 times a day if you want. Futures are a wonderful thing, man. But stocks, realistically, you can't just have 25. You got to have at least 30. And even 30 is kind of tight if you're just starting a new account. Because you need some drawdown room, right? To be able to trade freely, which, whatever. If you're doing it professionally, it's like, well, it's not a big deal. You're going to have way more than that anyway. But realistically, if somebody's like, I'm really interested in trading small cap momentum stocks, that's what I want to do. But I can't because I don't have 30,000. If that's what someone comes in and says, that's really frustrating to me. We had this conversation like a month ago, and someone in the chat came in and they were genuinely trying to make a case that PDT is a good thing because we need to protect people from themselves. And I'm like, you and I just see the world differently, brother. And that's okay. But fuck. If there is anything that I disagree with more, it's trying to protect everybody from themselves. That is a crazy mentality to me. All right, 2 minutes starting to look kind of interesting. So let's pop back to the 5 because we're a minute 20 out. This is the exact kind of situation that we had, what was it, Wednesday? I don't know if you guys remember, I was talking about how this is kind of a tough situation if this closes down here. Because you could either be seeing an ascending channel, or if you zoom in on a smaller time frame, a tighter descending channel. And it just confuses the hell out of everybody. And then nothing happens. You end up in a trading range. So I try to avoid, I'm very tempted to get long, but I'm not going to. I'm going to hold off. Discipline. I'm going to hold off, and we'll look for one more bar. Because if we get one more bull body closing up here, the setup improves anyway. So let's see what we get here. Stop limit buyout, you got filled? All right. See if the bulls can give it a push for you. Yeah, that'd have been my idea on that bar too. For me, I hold off there. But I hope it works for you, my man. And if it does, I might be joining you a little late. But for me, that'd be right on time. Let's take a peek at the 2 minute. Ooh, 2 minutes slowing down. 2 minutes slowing down. You know what I need? I have 4 big ass monitors. I think I need about 8. I need about 8. And that way, I could have the 5 minute, the 2 minute, the 1 minute, all big. We could trade off of it without having to switch anything. I have them all up top, but they're kind of small. And then we could also do the same for ES. The right amount of monitors is always one more. I have come to that conclusion. Yeah. Hey, the big TV, man, that's an old trader hack. You throw up just like 2 or 3 big TVs on your desk and you got all the room you need. All right, so now again, we're looking at the 5 minute chart. We're about a minute out from the rollover here on the 5. And I gotta tell you, I think we're probably looking at something like this. Checking on the 2 minute quick. Yeah, I mean, 2 minutes looking kind of like not much going on. Back to the 5. Well, right now, I'm just looking at this. We're on a 5 minute chart. I'm looking at this because volatility is increasing, obviously, in the market. So the 5 minute is back in play, baby. And I love it. But we'll swap back between the 5 and the 2, which is my, what I prefer to be able to do. We just haven't been able to really do that lately. It's been mostly the 2 minute. But right now, I'm looking at the sideways little trading range. I mean, that golden line is the 20 EMA. By the way, what is it with NinjaTrader and volume weighted average price? You have to buy it? I'm so confused. NinjaTrader is the first trading platform I have ever seen that makes you pay for the most popular trading indicator, intraday at least, on the planet. I didn't even look into it enough to figure out how to do it. Just bizarre, man. I was looking for volume weighted average price. I was like, well, let me just throw it up so I can have it ready in case I want to throw it up on any given day with like the color. I've always ran my volume weighted average price as like a teal, like a light blue. I mean, you go back, I don't know, you go back to the old videos, it was always Thinkorswim volume weighted average price was a light blue color, always. So that's just what so I wanted to get it set up. And I'm looking for it in NinjaTrader, and it's not there. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm looking online, and everyone's writing in forums how pissed they are that you have to pay for VWAP on NinjaTrader. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I've never seen this before. It's the most basic intraday indicator on the planet. Well, I've got my eye on this. This does seem to be a descending little channel, so there would be room for a push through here, but it depends how this bar closes up. 90 seconds out. Bull's trying to bounce this baby. Look at the 1 minute chart. There's a 1 minute. You see that? But we're 50 seconds out on the 5. So let's head back to the 5. 45 seconds out till the rollover here of this 5 minute bar. And the bulls are bouncing this way back up into a doji. That's not what I want to see. At least as far as for getting a trade here. Trade number 4 of the day. Yes, sir. Still inside that wedge. This is a little trading range. Always a good reminder if you're looking at something, and I get it. You know, you kind of get lost in the sauce. You're like, I don't know. I'm trying to find something that makes sense. It's like you start going down that hole. You're like, okay, there's 2 consecutive bear bodies. You almost forget. It's like, wait, shit, we're in a trading range. That's step 1. Are we in an intraday trend or are we in a trading range? And if I ever catch myself trying to look at continuation trades in a trading range, you gotta remind myself. I get it, you're thinking so hard all day when you're trading. Sometimes you like forget the basic thing that you started with, which is what's the context of the day right now? Of course, mixed with the overarching market context. Overarching market context, we're looking at kind of a wide, starting to be more volatile range market. Intraday, we're getting intraday trends that turn into ranges, which is exactly what we saw today. Yesterday, we had more of a range that turned into a soft little grindy trend. All right, Niles. I got you, big dog. I set the line. Now I'm taking into consideration that we're bouncing back and forth between the 5 and the 2. The line is set. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I gotta fix the line. Hit it. Hit it, baby. You know, I wish we could do these kind of things with some stakes, you know? That'd be fun. It's just I don't really know what to do. Like I can't track who votes what. Which is why I gotta check into the YouTube rules on this. I don't know, man. But if what I'd like to do is track all your guys' messages, not like that, not for like, I mean for a game, okay? And I would track who guesses what and make sure everyone only guesses once before a time cutoff at the stream end price of NQ, and whoever's the closest and didn't disqualify themselves by guessing like 12 times wins a free Apex eval. I want to get that set up. That would be a good time. No, Caden, that is by end of the stream. And I'm at 3 right now. All right, here's the rollover of the 5-minute big ol' inside close. All right, we'll pop back to the 2 here in a sec. Oh my goodness, we're at 50-50, 49-51. Oh man, getting the bets 50-50. I gotta be a bookie. Fuck it, we're moving to Vegas, and I'm gonna start setting lines. Let's pop over to the 2 and see what's going on. Not much. Whole bunch of back and forth. Big old wiki 2-minute bar. Let's go back to the 5. Actually, let's peek at the 1 quick. Same deal on the 1. All right. Still on the 5 minute here. Keeping an eye out. See if we get anything clean. If we do, we'll slap it on. Let's see. Quick here what the 2 minutes up to. Bull bear, bull bear, bull bear is what it's up to. Back to the 5 where things are a little bit cleaner. By the way, still watching this little wedge. This has been a thing for a while now. We drew this about 30 minutes ago. "60 seconds. All right, we are 16 seconds out. I'm going to engage the copy trader. We still are on the 5 minute chart, but this gives me an opportunity to take a small stab and make my risk very obvious. So I'll punch that to the long side if I can get a fill, suck my risk up. ATR here on the 5 minute chart is 34. About 35, so we're keeping that in mind and just watching this channel here. This is very tight. Okay, so this is obviously a scalp mentality here on the 5 minute chart. Risk on this trade is only about realistically 13-ish points, 13 and a half. And risk, by the way, is covered with this wick low. So if the bears take out that wick low, take me out and move on. But let's see if the bulls can take it back up into this little trading range here. More of a wedge, really. All right, bulls, take it back up into that little wedge. See if the bears take out that little wick low. If they do, I just want to cut it. I could give it more risk. It's a scalp. I don't want to give it more than that. All right, there you go, bulls. Take it back up into the wedge. ATR about 36. There you go, bulls. On that higher. We're going to get at least better than 1-to-1 a little bit on the reward to risk here. There you go, Bulls. That is better than 1-to-1. 15, what do we get? 15, maybe 16 points. All right, good little scalp. Move on. That is trade number 4 of the day. Let's keep it pushing. Let's smoke those unders in the poll. All right, let's check out the 2-minute. Yeah, honestly, I mean, these are the kind of days where I'm liking the 5-minute. It's just way cleaner. So we'll stay over here on the 5. We'll, you know, I'll always swap back and forth as long as we can. That's how I prefer to do it, but the market the last couple of months hasn't really let us do that. But we are back on the 5, and I am loving it. Well, the 2 and the 5, I should say. Both. It's always both. It's not really or unless it has to be. Which it kind of had to be the last couple of months. Due to super low volatility. But what is the ATR on the 2 right now? We're coming into noon and the ATR is still damn near 20. Which is very nice to see. But back to the 5 here. Thank you, Joe! All right. Good question here. Nico, in your opinion, what is the middle child in terms of volatility and ease of trade between the Dow, ES, NASDAQ, and the Russell to trade futures? Okay. With active intraday futures traders, the OG is ES. In 20 years, when we're all still doing this, and the numbers are so much bigger, and we meet each other at the cigar lounge, or the gym, maybe we'll be saying the OG is NQ. It's gonna change. I don't know. I mean, right now, I would say, you asked for the middle child, I would say is ES. The NASDAQ is kind of like the wild younger sibling that you kind of got to keep your eye on and you're a little worried about, but grows up to be ultra successful. That's the NASDAQ. But ES is right now, ES is the OG. A lot of people find the ES a little easier. I mean, but inherently it is maybe a little bit harder because you're paying more to take each trade, because each tick, you know, commissions and fees, each tick is a higher percentage of your average trade expected value or expected move in the trade. So slippage costs you a little extra if you take some. The commissions end up being a slightly larger percentage of your actual trading expense. But if you trade ES better, and it's a little smoother, kind of like, you know, switching from like a 30-second chart to like a 5-minute chart. It's going to be a little smoother on the 5. A lot of people experience that switching from NQ to ES. But ES starts to be a problem in lower volatility environments. It's kind of tough to trade ES, at least in my opinion, the last like 2 or 3 months. So I think we've seen a lot of people come over to NASDAQ in the last 2 or 3 months just to try to get through. It's just opinion based. Trade whatever you like. Pine tree. What's up, brother? Good to see you. All right, here's the rollover of the 5. Yeah, I mean, if I had to do something, I'd put out a limit sell up top here, but I wouldn't get a fill in 15 seconds. The wick is just a little too big. If you're used to looking at a 2-minute chart, since we've been on there for a couple of months, because volatility hasn't really allowed us to move to the 5. I mean, we could have. It was just kind of choppy. Not choppy. I hate the word choppy. It was wicky. Choppy has become the ultimate excuse for red days. It's like, just say you lost, man. It's all right. Yeah, tale as old as time. Got chopped up today. Yeah, I mean, we all get chopped up sometimes, but I prefer to just say I traded today. I traded my plan and I fucking lost. And that's okay. Losing's part of winning, so own it. All right, let's pop over to the 2 and see what's going on over there. A lot of indecision there on the 2. Well, the market in general, but the 2 shows it a little better. Back to the 5. We drew this wedge an hour ago. Well, sorry, that's taking too much credit. We drew the wedge 45 minutes ago. The first time. And we are still stuck right inside there on the 20 EMA, that golden line. Again, here on the 5-minute chart. So let's keep watching this and see if it gives us anything. I think we're probably going to break here pretty soon. Volatility is enough that I don't think we're going to stick in here for another hour. Man, if you guys haven't yet, hit like. Hit like on the stream for Pharaoh Friday, baby. If anything, hit like on the stream for the return of volatility. I gotta tell you guys, I'm in a good fucking mood today. I'm in a good mood today because volatility is back, and I think we're gonna see this sustain itself into the near future, which means we are gonna be popping back and forth between the 5 and the 2. And finally getting some volatile action, man. There's a 2-minute. Yeah, Jake, this is down here. The red. Everything red down here is part of the ATR indicator. Everything orange is the range indicator, just overlaid on top of each other. For obvious reasons, I'm comparing the range of each individual bar with the ATR, the average range of the last 10. Javaz, Nico, what do you think would be the best strategy to trade NQ or MNQ? Well, probably MNQ. With a $1,000 personal account, you'd be trading MNQ. Let's speak hypothetically. For me, if you're like, okay, you have to trade MNQ with a $1,000 account, if volatility was good enough, I would trade. Let me think. Honestly, I would trade one MNQ, and if volatility was good enough, I would focus heavily on the 5-minute chart and trade kind of how I traded. You guys remember, right? Well, how I've been trading today, really. But also how I traded, well, more like how I traded today, but also back in like springtime. Though if volatility wasn't too high, I would try to use the bars to manage risk. If volatility was too high, even with 1 micro, I would probably stick to an arbitrary, like back then we were doing 40-40. 40 stop, 40 take profit, and then just focus on getting the win rate up. 65, it was like 65, 70% in spring at 1-to-1. And just trade price action. That's what I would do in that case. Now, would I stick to like, 1 trade a day? No. For me, again, on the 5, I'd be looking for as many trades as possible on the day. And I would use the 5 as kind of my built-in rate limiter with a $1,000 account on MNQ trading 1 micro. That's how I would do it personally. Yeah, they're right in the ATR and range indicator are right in NinjaTrader. Just search them up, you'll find them. Still in this little wedge here, so what do you say? I think we're gonna have to expand this, extend it out. Are you overs on the on the over-under 6.5 trades on the day poll? Are you overs starting to sweat? We need this little wedge to snap up if we're going to get over 6.5. Check in on the 2, see what's up over there. Yeah, 2 minute right in the middle of the wedge with a whole lot of wicks. Doji, big old gravestone doji, but when you get a gravestone doji like this right at the bottom of the wedge. A lot of people, by the way, like really, really quick scalpers, if they see this, they'll punch it short immediately after because they'll say, okay, what does that bar tell us? Well, in those 2 minutes, the bulls took it all the way up, and bears in the second half, quarter, 3/4, 10%, whatever. In the last portion of the bar, bears took it down. So the most recent data is the bears are winning. Very, very zoomed in here on the 2. And a lot of hyper scalpers, they'll punch the short button. They might even get it in a market order on that close. Now, in this case, you wouldn't, right? Because you're right in the bottom of a wedge. I guess it depends how many points you're scalping for. But that's really, really quick. Those are micro scalpers, I would call them. Back to the 5 minute. All right, guys, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Welcome back. We got a big bull body closing outside of the previous bar, or I guess this bar, wick high. But we're in a wedge, right? Context is always really important. To convince me to get long, I would need to see at least two consecutive, a minimum of two, growing bull bodies. And this one, I can't even really count because it's so small near the bottom of the range. And it would need to close outside of that wick high where my cursor is. So we obviously didn't get that, so we'll keep an eye on this now. We're about 2.5 minutes out from the rollover here on the 5 minute. Let's check in on the 2 minute. Shrinking consecutive bull bars. So shrinking, can't do anything on those obviously. This body, yeah, I mean if you wanted to short it, you'd be kind of early and you're coming into the lower end of the top third of the wedge. But you could have shorted that, that might have worked for you. But let's head back to the 5 and see what we get. All right, we are 30 about seconds out. Yeah, let's take a look at this. So, 22 seconds out here. Again, we're on a 5-minute chart. If we can see the bears close this near the low of this wedge, I would be looking for a small little scalp, reversion scalp, and just risk that little curl. It would be a small little stab. Let's see here. Roll over. Limit buy out, no fill. Let's see if we can get a fill here within a reasonable amount of time. And we will. We'll get a fill. Suck risk up. Right there. And see if we can get a pull back up into the wedge. Obviously that bar didn't quite close near the low, so a little bit of heat is fine. But let's see if the bulls can get the job done. If the bears take out the wick low, by the way, which is essentially a double bottom, right beneath, I'm sorry, right where my stop is beneath. I just want to be cut and move on. ATR here on the 5-minute chart, about 35. All right, bulls, fade this little bear move back up into the wedge. Ooh, bear test coming. Let's see. There you go, bulls, fade that back up in. Well, bulls trying, not quite getting the job done here. Looking for at least half an ATR. I'd prefer to get 1-to-1. Reward to risk out of this scalp, which would mean 20 points here, but half an ATR would be about 17-ish points. So let's see if the bulls can get it done. About 2 minutes left on this 5-minute bar. 2 minutes, 12 seconds. There you go, bulls. Fade it back up into the wedge. Minute 45 left on this bar. ATR 35. Good, bulls. Keep that pushing. Looking for at least half an ATR here. Haven't quite had that yet. Still plenty of room in the wedge. Gotta give it time. Gotta let it do what I want it to do here. At least how I structured the trade to need it to do. And bulls trying, not quite getting the job done yet here. There you go, bulls. Keep that pushing. Keep that pushing. There we go. And we'll get a fill. Half an ATR. Good little scalp. All right, let's move on. That was trade number 5 on the day. This wedge is starting to get a little tighter and tighter and tighter here on the 5 as we go. Well, on every time frame, I suppose. Now, when I look at this, couple of bars up, 4 bars down, 2 bars up, 4 bars down, 2 up, 2 down, 1 up, 1 down, 1 up. It's getting restless, right? I think this wedge is going to break here pretty soon. So we got to let that happen. This is a look at the 2-minute chart, by the way. We'll kind of swap back and forth. Man, this 2-minute, I mean, honestly, in comparison to the 5 today, this 2-minute just looks kind of crazy to me. Like, when I scan this, you guys know that. I mean, like, when I'm sure you guys do the same thing. You'll look at the chart and you'll kind of subconsciously scan it and just think to yourself, I would have done this here, that there. I would have managed risk here. I would have managed risk there. I would have cut that early there. I'd have taken profit here. It's just a quick scan, 5-10 seconds. When I look at this, I don't see very much. But when I look at this, I see quite a bit. So we'll hang out on the 5 here. See what it brings. And see if this wedge snaps up. Joe, we're not at 600. You biased son of a bitch. We're at 640. We're talking a 60-point move or a 140-point move, man. Yeah, I mean, I want to see if these bulls can honestly... I would want to see if they can push to maybe 7. Less the number itself, more kind of just the size of this channel. I mean, look at this. The size of this channel at the start was... What was it? About 60 points. You break through there and push 60 points, you're at 730. But I will also say, if, you know, if the Bears could somehow turn this and take out low of day down through 23.5 and low of day, that could be some monster stop hunting action. Two minutes, 50 seconds out here. Come on, Bulls. Let's see if they can break this out. It's time for this wedge to go. And you know what? Out of spite, let's just get rid of it. Now it'll break. Hey, Michael, good to have you, brother. Hey, Keegan, let's get a little more detail, maybe. So you entered at 4 a.m. Eastern time? What, to the short side? And is it okay? Of course it's okay. You're just a longer intraday trader. That's totally fine. If you want to take longer positions, you know, 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours. Cool. Just a different style. But if you're going to take longer positions like that, one thing I will say is you're going to want to size way down. Because you're looking for a bigger move. You're putting on more risk, points-wise. If you're trading prop. Which we are. And by the way, Take Profit Trader is still 40% off, and you pay no activation fee if you use code BIG. It's B-I-G. Tremendous firm over at Take Profit Trader. Daily payouts. Again, if you're trying to bootstrap going full time, if that's the boat you're in right now, you need money coming into the bank often. Take Profit does the daily payouts in a pro account. And I'm telling you, the money's in your account so quick. It's crazy. All right, well, ATR on the 5-minute is down to 32. I don't want to act like that's low. Man, 32. 2 months ago, we were begging for 20. Here on the 2-minute, we're still at 19. 2 months ago on the 2-minute chart, that 19 ATR at 12:21 in the afternoon would have been about 6.5. So I am loving it. Very, very good to see. About 3 minutes out here from the close of this 5-minute bar. Still in that little wedge. Sideways trading range. This is going to break out at some point. It's just a couple of wiki bars here, last 10 minutes. We're looking at NQ right now. NASDAQ futures. All right, guys. Well, volatility, we're kind of slowing down. This is going to break at some point. But I'm out of here for the week. Faro Friday. Very enjoyable day here. Volatility is back, man. I'm excited. We're going to be popping back and forth between the 5-minute, the 2-minute, putting on some scalps on both, putting maybe some intraday swings on the 5. We got lots of stuff to do, and it's all happening here next week. Subscribe to the channel. Like the stream, which is arguably more important, so that you actually get this recommended to you Monday morning. And we are going to be ready to rock. All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. If you're trading the afternoon, which I expect many of you are, be patient. Let the setup come to you. And when it does, gotta fucking hit it hard. All right, guys. See you next week. Have a good one.